I'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of the Irish Scott Productions podcast. We have some very special guests today. First of all, I'm joined by co-owner Scott Ralph. Scott, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We also have a couple other videographers from the Fox Valley area, and we've got Josh and we've got Jen, and they are the owners of Thompson Media. So welcome, both of you.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going great, besides being 20-something below.
Yeah.
So
with the wind chill 50, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pretty crazy today. I didn't know if I was even going to make it to work. So, but you know, what we want to do is we want to, you know, the whole idea behind our podcast is to kind of give our clients, your clients, potential clients, or just the general public, ideas, background, suggestions, things that, you know, the videography business, the importance of it in someone's special day. And first of all, Jen, Josh, how long have you guys been doing this for?
So we started, so long and short of it, we started in about, I'd say 2008. I started dabbling a little bit with photos, just kind of getting my fingers wet. I really started as a web designer, was my goal. And I started seeing all these cool photos come in. I'm like, okay, how are they making these, like, so for off-road racing per se, how do they make, or how are these trucks like looking like they're completely still and they're mud flying all over? And I'm like, oh, this is something that I want to start getting into as well. So then, like I was saying, 2008, we had our first kid and our daughter. And then we're like, oh, okay, now it's time to get a camera. And we were just taking tons of pictures with a little point and shoot camera. Still nothing like major with it. I mean, but we're just seeing, I think we went through what, Jen, going through some of the old stuff. I mean, we had like a couple hundred
lots
a month.
Yes.
I mean, just everything we could find, we were trying to take a picture of.
That was my excuse to buy DSLRs when we had our first kid. I was like,
right,
I'm documenting this kid's journey in life because I want to buy gear.
Yeah. Yep. And then so then fast forward 2008 or 2010, we were like, okay, we always got our family pictures done at a big box store. So we're like, okay, we'll go get the pictures done. We set the time. We had 2 sessions, was it?
Yep.
Like
so 2 sessions set. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have 2 half-hour sessions or 2 20-minute sessions, whatever. So we get there, and obviously it was kind of close around Christmas time. So we get there, they're running behind, and then they just kept pushing farther and farther and farther behind. So we're sitting there. Kids, obviously with kids, you know, there's a set schedule.
Yeah.
You got to do it. They fed, they ate. You got to be on schedule. Well, because we kept getting pushed so far back, kids were getting crabby. They didn't want nothing to do with it. So then they come to us and say, oh, you got about 10 minutes. We're like, seriously? So then Jen just lost it. So I'm like, she's bawling. I'm like, well, let's just go and do it. The little guy's puking all over the place. And we're like, okay. So that's when I'm like, okay, it's time to get serious here. I'm going to go buy a DSLR. We should be able to do this ourselves. Simple, right? Oh, yeah. That's one. Why are my pictures so black? Why, what is this light? What is this flash? And I mean, pretty much all from there was just like, okay, now I need to start really honing in my skills and being like, okay, how do we get better at this?
Awesome. Mostly self-taught. Yeah. I
much,
know that journey myself, you know, and thank God for YouTube and online resources, man. It's so valuable.
Right. And that's exactly like you were saying. I mean, we were 100% self-taught, didn't have no schooling, no nothing, but we did find that this website Creative Live, and we're like, oh, this is cool stuff. I mean, they're doing stuff for free and you just have to watch it. So then I picked up Zach Arias's One Light, his One Light class. And I'm like, oh, this guy is cool. He's got a big long beard. And I'm like, he's doing it all with one flash. I'm like, this is awesome. So I'm like, okay, let's started practicing with my Nikon D3000. I'm like, okay, this should be simple. We picked up a flash, and still, I mean, there was a space in Green Bay that you could rent like a studio space, and they had the extra off flash stands and all that stuff, and they give you a trigger. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this trigger? Slide it in and take the picture, and now everything's white. So I went from black to now everything is white. So I was like, okay, we got to dial this in a little bit more. And that's when I found this guy named Sal Sankata, and he was teaching his senior stuff and his wedding stuff. And we'll come back to him further on in the podcast. But I mean, I think he was really the Kickstarter, because I mean, I don't know if you guys heard anything or watched anything with Sal, but I mean, he's a no bull photographer. I mean, he's Italian, and it's pretty much his way or it's no way.
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I'm too familiar with his work.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've not heard of him, but
you will by the end of this.
Hey, that's part of the that's part of the process is learning. I'm guessing Scott has learned from a bunch of different YouTube videos and people that focus on videography and photography, and same thing with me on the entertainment side. Those are valuable tools to see what other people are doing, and to really hone in your craft to give your client the best experience that they can have. If we're not learning, we're not doing our job, right? Like, we should always be trying to evolve in the videography, photography, or entertainment areas. You should always be trying to evolve, and and that keeps it fresh too. You don't become stagnant. You don't become that DJ that looks like you're still from the 90s. Or rolling video, and you got one camera set up in the back, and that's your video that you're selling.
Your only video. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. And that's great to be able to give people those people, to look at and to, learn from. So,
yeah. And I think we're all here, all of us are of the age of before the internet, basically, before it became mainstream. And my big thing was skateboarding videos. I'd get the Thrasher video of the month, and I would watch that and figure out how they did it with the fisheye and everything. And then I finally got my own camera, and that's why I got my camera, was just to film skateboarding, really. And that's all I wanted to do, and never really took it a little bit further until I did have kids, like you were talking, just that kind of triggered something in me, like, I think I can do this. So that's definitely speaking to my, my heart there, like
just to interject there. The reason Scott never pursued that any further is he wasn't very good at skateboarding.
No, I wasn't very good at skateboarding at all. No. I was better at the filming of the skateboarding than being in front of the camera. So to kind of get back on track, what you're talking about, Josh, I forgot the guy's name.
Sal.
Yeah,
Sal. Yep. So like I said, we started watching more of him. He had his wedding boot camp, and I mean, he was doing all this stuff for free. So I mean, he walked you through from start to finish how to photograph a wedding, and we're like, okay, this is cool. So I'm like, hey, one of our friend's sister was getting married, and she's like, oh, we need a photographer. I'm like, yeah, I might know somebody that can hook you up. Then of course, my very first photography gig or wedding gig was pretty much, it was an outdoor wedding. She's got real long hair. I mean, it was down her back, and the wind is just blowing. I'm just like, what am I getting myself into? Outdoor wedding, hair's blowing in front of her face. I'm just like, hey, is this what all of them are going to be like? And then, like you said, as the time progressed and we just kept going along, Jen and I are like, okay, let's see what other options are out there. I mean, so then we started getting into more of the weddings, and then we started offering some seniors and stuff like that. So then I was like, okay, pretty much ran the course of the photographer as much as we could. And then in about 2014, I'm like, okay, obviously today, I mean, even though you go on Facebook and someone says, hey, I'm looking for a photographer, you're going to find 30,000 people that are going to do it for next to nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this market's kind of saturated. What else is out there? I mean, can you be a wedding planner? Is there anything else option wise? And obviously with Creative Live, this guy named Rob Adams, and
Yep.
comes onto the scene, and we're like, oh, I'm like, what is this type of video? It's not just sitting on a tripod in the back of the church, like you said. I mean, he's got the cinematic stuff, he's got the gimbals flying, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I've never seen anything like this. And then Ray Roman's Creative Live comes up. I'm like, okay, this is what we need to. This is the route we need to go down to. And I think as starting out as a photographer, I think gives us a kind of a heads up or a advantage, I would, if you want to say, onto that. You can see the composition, you can see the setup of the shot,
and a more cinematic look too.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yep, and then you just hit record, and you kind of.
That's definitely what helped me with the cinematic look, was understanding photography before I went to try and film a video cinematically. Because if you don't understand your aperture or depth of field or your shutter speed or anything like that, it's a lot different than picking up like a handy cam. What I was used to when I was in high school and through college. And even like news cams are completely different too, because you can pull focus, you just zoom all the way in, hit your focus, zoom back out, and everything's in focus, if you want to do that. Yeah. So that's what I was really used to, being in TV with that kind of background. There was no autofocus. Your autofocus was your subject's, 20 feet away, you zoom in on that subject, focus it. So that was something that really threw me for a loop when I was starting to do video, was like, there's no back focus. What do I do? So I had to get used to that depth of field really good,
Yep.
So tell me about your process for the wedding day. How do you approach it? What do you guys do?
So I think, if we back up a little, back up one more, that's fine. With that whole video journey, that's when we, at this event called Shutterfest, yes. We met this guy named Joel Schweitzer, and he pretty much took us under his wing, and how we do our process now and everything, basically how we shoot the wedding, I think is contributed to him, because his method is very simple. He doesn't do the frills and the fancy stuff. He's like, you just go and shoot it.
Yeah.
So I think that helped build our process as we were starting to really look into doing this, the videography for weddings. So essentially, we pretty much shoot everything as we were shooting it as if we were photographers. So what I mean by that is every scene, so every shot, so let's use hair and makeup, brides in the chair. We always shoot 3 to 4 different types of shots. So we call it a tight, middle, wide, and then we add a gimbal. And that's one thing that Sal always taught in the photography world is one shot, you can do tight, middle, wide, and then you can go a vertical and then do tight, middle, wide again. So, you got 6 shots in one
pose. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, so we try to always, anytime we're rolling, I always tell my second shooter, okay, we're going to do a tight shot, we're going to do a wide shot, and we're going to do a middle shot. And then I will fly that same shot with a gimbal. So it kind of gives us a couple different options. So we always try to, as the day progresses, we keep that in mind as we're shooting. So we always, like we're saying, we're doing tight, middle, wide of every scene. Then when it comes to, say, the ceremony, we're always shooting with, I think it's 4 to 5 cameras. So we always have a bride camera, groom camera, a camera down the middle, and then we put a camera way in the back or way up top. We call it the Uncle Bob angle. Mm-hmm. So we always have a backup. So there's always something rolling.
Do you walk around with a monopod or the gimbal?
We do not. No. We started with the monopod, but for me, if you get good at a tripod, you can treat it just like a monopod. There's a little bit bigger of a footprint, but you can collapse that and treat it pretty much just like a monopod. So what we found is that, and Jen can contest to this, that I don't like shake. Any movement in a shot just drives me insane. And we were finding with the monopods, the slightest wind, you're shooting on carpet. There was more often than not that I'm like, oh, we wish we had a tripod here. So we know you'd had a lockdown shot. So we pretty much shoot everything everything off tripods. We ended up going to carbon fiber tripods last year, so it's lightweight. And we just fly around with them.
That makes sense. I shoot off a monopod, and there is a little bit of a shake, especially if you're on uneven ground. But just kind of gotta keep your. I found switching to a GH5 made it off of a monopod a little bit easier than what I was running, and I use a big Siri monopod, so it's basically like a tripod.
That's what we all.
So having that GH5 on there, it's basically like a tripod, and it's really, really nice. I was shooting on the C100s, and I'll still shoot the C100 during the ceremony, but everything else like prep and stuff, I'll shoot on the GH5.
Awesome.
Yeah. So back to good. So that's pretty much a ceremony. We always try to make sure that we always have a angle always rolling. Then as we move forward into the creatives and the formals, we're always shooting 2 cameras. So I always have my second shooter. Every wedding we shoot, we always have a second shooter. Is that Jen? Is Jen?
Jen when she's available?
Yep, absolutely. Sometimes.
Yep, absolutely. It's nice because then we get the husband-wife time.
Yeah.
But if it's not Jen, then it's Tina Harpo.
Who's the boss then?
It's definitely Jen. It's definitely Jen.
Josh tries to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try hard, but it never.
Yeah, so she's pushing you around then. That's
she's
good.
got final
that's
word.
Good. Yeah.
And brides like that. Brides like dealing with.
So here's an interesting. I just thought of an interesting question. So your major audience is the bride, basically. When you finish a film, Jen, do you have final say over it? Do you always look at it?
Yes, he always runs by every video. Usually, I do a lot of the edits, but if he's editing a video, I always have final say.
You kind of dropped off there. Jen. I think your headphones fell out.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So you said you always have final say, basically?
Always final say, yes, absolutely. Because he's really good, but sometimes he doesn't always capture quite the emotion of the day or what was happening in that moment. So I'm always
smart man. I always run it past my wife too.
Yeah.
It's Brandon is first. He gets to see it, and then my wife, she has the final, like, why did you shoot that? Or you should have shot the shoes this way. Or, why are you showing that shot? She's got a triple chin in that shot. Don't use that shot. I don't care. It was a great shot, but I don't, I'm not thinking of that when I'm editing it, so it's great to have that extra pair of eyes that the feminine set of eyes that can see all those things that we necessarily wouldn't, think of.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to put it past a couple different people just so that, as much as I love Scott, he a lot of times, for one, he can't spell. So if there's anything in there that needs to be spelled, that's the first thing. And then sometimes he'll have the same shot in there a couple times, and just through the edit, which happens, you don't see it because you put it in there, So
or I'm editing at like 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
like Josh does.
Yeah, and that's why I love that when Jen's doing the editing, because I shoot it, I shot it, I know exactly what I had. Now Jen can put it together, and then I can kind of, I know there's this shot here. You need to go find that. That shot's got to be in there.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's something that's nice. Is some people's good.
I like putting it together myself. The shooting part of it I enjoy, but not as much as editing. I love editing.
Yeah, see, I love shooting. Yeah, that's why I love passing the buck, and then I do the grading. I will do the color grading.
Yes,
so
I'm not
she
good
lays
at that.
it all out, and then I kind of do the final touch, and then she gives the okay before we ship it out.
So more of a question more for Jen. I know that you do the marketing. What's your process behind that? Like, do you mainly stick to social media? Do you do any radio advertising, TV advertising?
Around here, for us to get brides, a lot of our brides and a lot of our clients are on Facebook and Instagram.
Instagram is big,
a couple of years ago when Josh said, okay, we're going to get real, we hit it really hard on Facebook. We spent, every time we released a video, we boosted that post, and we got a lot of traction with that. And I was saying earlier, that was that summer that he had weddings basically every single weekend, Friday, Saturday. And for that, it worked because that's what helped build our client base, because we know once people see the videos or the friends that are in those videos, those are our next clients.
Yeah.
So that has helped us. And then also we do a couple of local wedding shows where they're very large. We see lots and lots and lots of people. And for, I don't know, about 2 months after that, we're getting a few inquiries every day, which is awesome. Obviously they don't all fit. They all aren't our client.
Yeah.
But we also have a network of other videographers that we work with where we can refer them out to other videographers that we would recommend. Because obviously, we still want to have that rapport with those brides, even if they're not our client.
Yeah, I think me and Josh go back and forth a lot, referring each other.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's always great. A bunch of Facebook groups and everything. But talk to me a little bit more about the shows. Brandon and I have yet to really do a full-blown show. We always talk about it, but then it always gets to the point where, we're not ready and we both have other things that we're doing. And, but I think maybe next year we'll be doing it. So what kind of experience is that like?
So, this year, actually, we just had the winter wedding show here in Green Bay, and, it's a huge wedding show. There's like 250 vendors there. So you really have to stand out. And this year, we advertised to brides that we were doing both video and photo. So we had a double booth where we had a very large TV with our videos playing, but then we also had some of our photos displayed. And really, the piece of the piece that we give to the brides or the couples when they book us and when they get their video, I think that this year is what sold us, because our photo album, if they book one of our packages, they actually get a video player within that photo album keepsake box. So it's all in one piece, their video and their photos all in one keepsake box, which is really cool. Something new and cutting edge. And all the brides, even some of the grooms are like, whoa, that's really cool. But really, for us, we've been doing this a few years, quite a while now. And we always want to be, when we go, we always want to be the one that's making the splash. We always want people to remember us. So we hit social media hard right before, and then we hit social media hard after the event. And we also are following up with brides that may have inquired with us because they do book.
Yeah. I think it's funny you say, making a splash. And this is something that I've, me and Scott, we've talked about doing wedding shows probably for the last couple of years. And I always tell them, I'm like, we need to make this big. I want a huge printed, 10 foot by 10 foot backdrop. I want TVs. And I think that's kind of where we kind of have a little bit of why we haven't done the shows is because we know that there's going to be an investment and obviously there's time involved, and both of us are so busy it's hard to devote that time. But that's the thing is, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. You got to make that impression, because
and that's why we haven't done it, because we haven't been able to do it right. Yeah.
Truthfully. Everybody can show up with, a laptop showing a video. Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's simple, right? Like anybody can do that. But if you really want to stick out to potential clients, you really got to be that needle in a haystack and show why they need to go with you and pay that little bit extra than the other videographer, photographer, entertainment companies down the way. And it's funny you talk about that show. I actually just got off the phone with one of my DJ buddies, and he was telling me that he just got off the phone with them, and there's a waiting list for DJs.
Mm-hmm. There is
to get into that show because it's so big.
DJs and photographers, photographers. I think that one of the ones that just got in said she was on for 7 years.
Wow.
yeah. She was saying 3. He was saying 3. They told him 3 to 4 years at least. Yep. So that's pretty crazy. But that just puts that's a great show that everybody wants to be a part of. And we've got one around here that's starting to make a splash.
One on Century World, right?
Yep, correct. Century World. Yeah, that we actually were going to be doing the audio for it last year, but it just never came to fruition. And it's so from what I hear, it's becoming the Central Wisconsin show to go to. So we'll see. I mean, we'd like to get to one here, and we also talked about possibly trying some other markets as well.
Okay, so let's get back to Shutterfest. So Josh tells me you're going to be at Shutterfest this year, and it's trying to market a little bit to the video side of things. Let's just go through that. I know about it a little bit, but I've never really researched it too much. So what can you guys tell me about that?
Right. So let me give you a little bit of the history of it.
Cool.
So back and way up to the beginning of the podcast here. So that Sal Sincata, he had this dream that, hey, I'm going to do this event and it's going to be like no other event up there. And everyone's telling him, nope, you can't. It's never going to work. And obviously being Sal, once you get to know him, he's not going to take no for an answer. So 2014, he puts this big show together. We were at was it Hilton Ballpark?
The ballpark
in St. Louis. Sold the hotel out in I think 10 minutes. I mean, it was just insane. Sold the whole hotel because it was the show itself was pretty much, it was free. You had to pay, I think it was $79 or $80.
Yeah.
And then he wrote you a check back.
Oh, wow.
Because that was his thing. Hey, we're going to do this. It's going to be free. And it was capped at 500 people. So obviously following Sal through all his social medias and stuff, that's how I kind of found out about the Shutterfest. I'm like, I'm in, man. The chance to meet the guy that's helped me so much learn about photography and everything. So we follow him. It's basically it gives you a one-on-one, or not, I wouldn't say one-on-one, but gives you access to amazing presenters, speakers from all over the industry. And that's where I met Joe Schweitzer. And a lot of it is you basically, you'll do the lecture, or you'll sit in a class. There's a bunch of different classes that you can join. But you sit in, you got one teacher kind of talks for about maybe 30 people or whatever. And it's just like a whole classroom atmosphere. So then you're done with that session. Then you get a little bit of break. You go to another session. And with that, it's like it never stops. They never stop teaching, which it's hard to explain, but it's like it's a nonstop, big, I mean, it's like a conference,
huge
but
party. The conference is Tuesday, Wednesday. People are already showing up on Saturday and setting up shoots and learning from each other. And you literally don't sleep for 4 days. It's super fun. It's really long, 4 days. But the information and the connections and the networks you build over these 4 days, I will tell you what, that first Shutterfest, Josh was like, let's go. This is going to be so much fun. This is going to be great. He had already drank the Kool-Aid. And I was like, okay. And after that first year, I was, let's say, half into the business. If he does good, great. If not, after that first year, the whole ride home from St. Louis, we were talking about everything we needed to do to get to do more. Like, it's inspiring. It's refreshing, especially this time of the year where it's kind of our off season and, we're gearing up for our next wedding season. And it's just, you can't explain it, but it's for what you pay and what you get out of it, it's invaluable.
Yeah. I mean, their model is shoot, learn, party is basically. So, I mean, you can go there and say, okay, I don't want to take any classes. They have a model set up that you can, it's called the Rent a Human. And basically you say, hey, I need a model. I'm going to shoot senior photos. So then they'll give you a senior model and then you'll go and you can walk pretty much all over the grounds. And just shoot. I mean, you could just build your portfolio if you wanted to there. If you wanted to learn about business, you can learn about business. If you want to learn about pretty much everything. I mean, anything related to the industry you can learn. And that's why we're excited this year, is because now Sal's starting to allow more of the video world into there. I mean, it's baby steps, but the last 4 Shutterfest, it was pretty much Joel Schweitzer, and then I think there was one other video person, and that was it. I mean, the video world is just not there. I mean, people want to learn it, and it needs to be taught, but the market just wasn't quite ready for it. Now this year, there's at least, I think, 4 or 5 people teaching video courses.
Do you have a course there?
Exciting. Yes, we actually have 3 courses we'll be teaching.
Let's talk about those. What do you got?
Sure. So the first one we're going to do, last year we started, I finally was able to talk Sal into saying, hey, we want to shoot the promo video for Shutterfest. We'll do it for free. We just want to have access to kind of shoot the video. I'll work with a couple of different people. We'll get together and we'll rock out a video for you. And he's like, okay, perfect. Shot the video. There's 5 of us? 6 of us?
Yep.
And we basically, I mean, he gave us this long list, and he's like, okay, I need this, this, this. And he pretty much broke it down in the script, and here's how you're going to shoot it. And we're like, okay, I'm thinking in my head, he's thinking, yeah, this is never going to happen. And when we come back, we shot a 2 terabyte hard drive and handed it to him. He's like, oh my God. He's like excited. I mean, we shot everything on the list. We had a whole plan. I think we blew his mind and said, hey, yeah, there is video guys out here that they want this stuff to happen. So we shot the promo video, and that kind of opened the door now for us for this year. So one of the courses we're going to be teaching, we're going to be shooting the promo video for 2020 Shutterfest. So I'm going to take a group of videographers, photographers, whoever wants to join. We're going to take them and we're going to kind of break through the list again. So Sal's going to give us kind of, here's the shots I need, here's our script, and then we'll assign tasks to the shooters, and just here you go. And it's pretty much that class is going to be pretty much from Tuesday morning to Wednesday night. So it's basically shoot the list. You're going to be kind of always on the clock. We'll be available 24/7. If you need something, just give us a call or give us a text. So that'll be the shooting of the promo video. And our second class will be obviously now putting that promo video together. So we're going to go through, okay, we're going to use last year's footage that we have. We're going to kind of basically take that promo video that was created and dissect it. Say, okay, here was his list. Here was the storyboard. Here's the shots that were used to fill those certain parts of that promo video. And then we'll talk about the color grading, laying the music down, doing the audio, basically starting the whole promo video from start to finish and then shipping that out. So that'll be our second class. And then our third class will be from photographer to videographer, and giving all the tips and tricks that we learned along our journey to help make that transition. Because obviously photo, a lot of these guys and gals are still photographers, but once they realize that they can start offering video, I mean, they got the cameras that can do it. You gotta start doing it. It's just gonna, I mean, the flow of possibilities are going to be endless for them. If they can offer a photo and a video to their clients, I mean, it's just going to be insane. So that's our third class.
And being able to master both of them at the same time, that's kind of like my dream. I want to be able to offer both at the same time, but I can't get it down quite yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're always going to leave one lacking, either photo or video. You know.
Yep, and that's why we kind of walked away from photo for a while to really focus on video, and that's still my love is video.
Yep.
And then working with Tina Harpold now, she was my second shooter photographer, and what's funny is she was actually on one of the Creative Live classes with Sal.
Oh, nice.
And when they were doing the interview, she's like, Tina Harpold from Green Bay. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So, of course, my stalker reached out to her, hey, I saw you on Creative Live. That was so cool. And then we just started talking, and next thing I know, she's my second shooter. She had been because of her nature in photography, she is one of the solidest shooters for us because she gets it. She knows how to compose. She knows how the shots I'm looking for, and that's why we jive so well. But now she's like, hey, because she's a photographer as well. So I'm like, she's like, can we do photography sometime? I'm like, you know what? Fine. I said, this is year. We want to do it. We're going to go all in.
I like money.
Like Jen
yeah,
said
let's do photography.
At the show, we went all in, and I mean, we booked 2 right at the show. They wanted to book photo and video, but we had the video weekend booked already. So Jen will be shooting with me on that.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I run into too, because I do photo and video, and I just can't, I can't do both at the same time. So that kind of limits me to what we can do, because it's probably more of me too, because I just want to be able to be in control of both of them. And we haven't got to the point yet where I can let that go, running two different events at the same time. It's just, I'd rather be in control of how the brand comes out than having someone else represent me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
so Josh, you went out to Vegas and talked out there, did you not?
Yes, and we'll actually be going out there again in a couple months or weeks here, February 23rd.
Tell us what you talked about. How did that come about, and what was your experience like out there?
Yes, so actually out there then, so that's called WPPI. Wedding.
I wasn't able to get my wife on board for that, man. You asked me multiple times this year, and I'm like, I just can't do it.
Yep. So WPPI, and that's for wedding portrait photographers and international. So it's a huge conference out in Vegas. And it was kind of the same route, or that they were obviously geared for photographers. But now they're offering, last year they started really getting into they're calling it video tracks. So there's a group of us that go out there, Garrett and Amber, Jordan Bunch, Brandon Rice. I mean, there's a couple of the big names that you see over all the videographer groups. So they're presenting out there. And we're actually, last year was the first year that they offered videographers to be judges of the film panel. So in years past, it was kind of, they would take different vendors, maybe a photographer, and they were judging the wedding films. And last year they're like, hey, let's get the actual peers and people that are shooting video to judge the films. So I got to be on that panel last year, which was pretty awesome. And then this year again, we're going to be one of the judges for the films, so the wedding films and the corporate films. And the course that we'll be teaching out there is going to be how to basically crush your same day edit. So I think for anybody starting in the wedding business or wanting to start in the wedding videography business, if you can provide a same day edit at that wedding reception, you're just going to blow the minds of everybody that's there. They can't get a grasp on how you could film this stuff this day, and then you're showing it at nighttime. I mean, they just think it's the coolest thing. And we got some pretty nifty tricks that help you accomplish that. And I mean, I think when we started, I was the only one. I was shooting, doing the same day edit, and then presenting it. So I mean, that was crazy.
How do you present it? Do you just put it on your laptop or?
No, so we actually have. So we go all big. We go bigger, go home. So we have an 80-inch projector screen. The projector, and basically how we do it is right before the first dances, we bring the bride and groom out on the dance floor. We set up some chairs and have the wedding party join them, and then that's how we present it that way. So we have the big screen, the projector. We tap into the DJ speakers, so it's cranking, and now they're watching basically a 2 to 3 minute song, and then we lay a bunch of the clips from the day on that. So it's like they're seeing their wedding day unfold right before their eyes as they were, because obviously they're running around and they got enough stuff that they're trying to worry about that they're not seeing all these little nifty, little neat pieces that we're putting together for them.
So as you're shooting throughout the day, are you making mental notes of what you want this film to look like at the end of the night, or how do you work that?
I wish.
So for us, what we found that we've pretty much streamlined it so well is that we find a song before the wedding even happens. It's all about the pre-production of it. So we find a song, and then we'll cut it up into sections. So we have like 30 seconds of we call money shots, and then you have 30 seconds of hair and makeup, 30 seconds of bride prep, groom prep, ceremony, and then the creatives. Because we stop it at reception, so no reception footage is on the same day edit. It's everything before that.
You're displaying it at the reception, so yeah.
Yes, yep. So we know in the back of our head, okay, we need at least 3 to 4, 5 good shots from each prep work, and then the rest is just kind of bonus. So what we'll do is we use a DJI Copilot drive that we're throwing our cards into, and it doesn't need a computer, doesn't need anything. The hard drive, you just throw your disk in there and it downloads to the hard drive. So then when we get on location, we just plug the hard drive in, load the footage into Final Cut, and start dropping clips.
Yeah, that's a great process. The on-site backup is also great. I have a Western Digital that I've tried to use in the past, but can just never part with the card long enough to actually get it fully backed up.
And this one's I have the Western Digital as well. This one's pretty much the same. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes on a 64 gig card, but a lot of it you could even do right from your iPad. So what's nice with the DJI is it has the Lightning adapter that you can plug it into your iPad, so you can see the folders or the files, everything right there.
Nice
as well. So that's kind of a cool.
Have you thought about editing on an iPad?
I thought about it, but there's nothing until Final Cut comes out with a version that's going to give you the same features. I found one that was pretty close. It's called, I think it's
LumaFusion.
LumaFusion. It's pretty close, but for the speed,
it's really limited. It's really limited in the operating system. I think that's what's limiting the app. Otherwise, that app is really close to Final Cut. Definitely.
Yep. And Jen's so fluid in Final Cut now that she can sit down. We go put her in her little room and she just goes to town.
Nice.
That's a nice add-on that you can do. And like I was saying, for anybody starting out, offer it for free. Say, hey, we'll do a same day edit. You show that at that wedding. We were walking away with at least 1 to 2 inquiries that night. Hey, can you send me some information? We loved seeing this film. So, you got that mass of people right there. You can't have a better audience than the emotions are high. And then you even can, when you get home, load that up or export that out of Final Cut, load it onto Facebook, and now boom, your next day you got a film sitting out there.
Yeah, definitely. Even Instagram 60-second thing is perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So as we're kind of wrapping up here, was there anything else that we wanted to touch on? You got anything that you want to plug that's coming up? Other than the things we touched on?
No, I think we are going through a rebuild of our website, trying to streamline the stuff, make it easier so you can get our videography stuff, your photography stuff, and education stuff, as well as we're starting to get into the commercial world as well. So offering promo videos for companies and whatnot. But no, our big thing right now is gearing up for the wedding season, and we got WPPI in a couple weeks, and then rock and roll at Shutterfest.
Yeah, I just want to wish you guys great luck at the events that you're doing, and good luck with the wedding season this year. And hopefully it's not as hot as it was last year.
Oh, yeah, last year. Yes, and same to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you want to touch on, Brandon?
No, I think we got a lot of information that both Josh and Jen shared with us, and kind of understanding their process and some of the things that they've done to take their business to the next level. So that's I go back to this all the time. It's really about investing in your clients, and the way you do that is by investing in yourself. And by going to these shows, by going to those trainings, they're doing what needs to be done. And I commend you for that, for not being those people that just sit back and kind of stay stagnant. So congratulations on the success you've enjoyed so far, and the success that will come for many years to come. And we're honored, and it's a pleasure to know both of you. And I know Scott talks a lot with you, Josh, back and forth, and bounce ideas and refer and stuff like that. So it's great to have people that can enjoy that kind of back and forth information. And where I find it tough in the entertainment industry is a lot of DJs, they don't want to help each other. It's hard to find, I've got some really good friends that we refer each other, we help each other. But for a lot of people, it's, if they can't book the event, they don't really care, but there's enough work for everybody. And
yeah, exactly.
I think, the more we can get along and be a cohesive unit and work together, the better we are going to be for our clients. And I think you guys do that, and we appreciate that. And so that's about all I got. Scotty, you got anything else?
No, I'd just like to say thanks for coming on, and you guys have a good one.
Yep, you too.
Thanks for having us.